Okay, so you're procrastinating. There's something you really want to do that you just can't get around to. No matter how many times you set it up, you're going to do it definitely this time, tomorrow morning, definitely. I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to stop me. And still, somehow, you don't get around to that task that you really want to get done. So it's really hard because you end up getting into this cycle of, I really want to get that thing done. I keep putting it off, and then I'm really frustrated with myself because I have no idea why this is happening. I feel like I'm being lazy, like I'm not doing enough. Procrastination is not a lack of discipline, okay? So let's get drawing. This is your task. So this mammoth thing that's in the way, that's in front of you and not behind you, the thing that you can never get around to. It's become this kind of little monster in the closet, or big monster in the closet. That's the task. And what's happening is here. This is the feeling I get when I think about the task. And then sensations happen in the body. The body's responding not with motivation, but with resistance. This is something also in ancient teachings that we call aversion. And aversion inevitably leads to suffering of some sort. So this uncomfortable feeling could feel like tightness. It could feel like pressure. It could feel like heaviness, okay, in the body. So the thing to remember is you're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding the feeling. So just as an example, think about a task you've been putting off. What happens in your body right now? Is there a drop in energy? Maybe you feel like a heaviness or a resistance. Could feel like a type of contraction. Where is that happening? So what happens when we get this feeling? Okay. Basically, we do something to avoid the task. We put something between us and the task. So I'm going to put distract here. So it's something that's going to take our mind off the task. Our system wants to move away from that feeling. So we're going to distract it in any way necessary. And either you could be distracting it by doing something that feels otherwise productive to you, or you could be distracting it just by trying to get away from that feeling. But somehow, deep down in the back of your mind, you know that no matter how many things you put in front of you and this task, you're always going to come back to thinking about the task that needs to get done. And that task is always going to lead to this feeling. So the task is still there, same feeling, and the loop keeps repeating. So what are we going to do? Well, that's where somatic healing comes in. We notice what's there, we stay with it, we allow it to be there, and we allow it to be there without judging it. We just notice. And when we allow it to be there, the reason why it's there begins to make sense. There's something behind that feeling that we're pushing away. It could be something scary, like a sense of loss. It could be loss of identity, loss of a sense of safety or security. The task could be simply too much, too tiring. It could be difficult to know how or where to start. There could be too much pressure to get it right from yourself or from others. So, of course, it feels like this. So, what are we going to do? The shift is here. Here's the task. Huge, overwhelming task. What we're going to do is we're going to make it smaller. So it has to feel small, okay? That's the most important thing. Here's the task. And I'm going to make it feel tiny. And so that task becomes really tiny in the scheme of things. So if I have 3 hours to get something done, that task is going to be 1 minute long. And the other important thing to remember is, this is the feeling, okay? You don't need to wait for the feeling of resistance to go away. You can do it with that feeling still being here. You can let it be there and take the step anyway. This tiny little thing. So here's the micro practice. Next time you sense yourself avoiding something, first thing to do, feel it in the body. There's that feeling coming up again. Then name it. What am I feeling in the body? Does that feel heavy? Do I feel tightness? Am I feeling pain? Where is it? Is it in the chest? What am I feeling right now? Can I feel resistance? What does that feel like? Where is it in the body? Then make that task really tiny. Make it tiny in your mind. Make it small enough to begin, like a bite-sized piece that's going to take no time at all. It'll be done before you even think about it. So tiny. And step forward, just remember that you can still start that task with that feeling still there. That's fine. It's okay. Know that it's there. Allow it to be there. Be kind to it, because you know that it's there for a reason. So the task isn't the problem. It's the reaction to the feeling that's stopping you doing it. So stay with the feeling, even briefly, and the loop starts to loosen. So just noticing now where this shows up. You don't have to do anything right away. And remember to take care, be well, and start with what's here in this moment.